Hey guys, it's Craig here. Welcome back to Vinyl TV. It's been a little while since I put a video out, so I thought I'd cam up and sit and have a discussion with you guys about why did vinyl come back? And I actually don't know the reason to this question. I don't know the answer to that. I personally didn't get into vinyl again because of the resurgence. In fact, I had no idea that it was in the process of coming back. The reason why I got back into it, it was because I got bored. I got bored of music. I was not listening to music at all. I mean, really much. I mean, MP3s. I mean, you got Spotify, you got all the music in the world practically at your fingertips, and it just got boring. Listening to music for me growing up was a ritual. It was something that you did and you put your mind to it and you set it up and you had an environment and you listened to an album and you turntables and everything else. So, that was my experience growing up with music. And then when CDs came along, of course, we were all, a lot of us anyways, not all of us, but some of us were very excited about that because of the ease of use, the lack of having to clean and fiddle with things to get them to play. And just off the record, I personally think that CDs sound very good. I know there's a lot of controversy over that, but I don't have a problem with the sound of them at all. So, but anyway, that's a different thing. When I got back into vinyl, it was because I was bored and I wasn't listening to music, and I knew I had a turntable around here somewhere, kicking around. And I also found a box of 45s at a garage sale, a whole bunch of them. And so I went to the thrift store, and I was walking around the thrift store, and I saw this little record player, those little portable, crappy toy record players. So I bought it, it was $10 or whatever. So I got home, and I had this thing in the kitchen, and I was doing my dishes and cooking and playing all these stupid 45s. They sounded like crap, but I was having fun. For the first time in a long time, I was actually having fun listening to music. One would finish, I'd take it off, I'd put another one on, I'd put the needle on, I'd go back, do my, my dishes and all that. And it brought back a lot of childhood memories, So then I ended up pulling out an old turntable that I had that someone gave me a long time ago. And it needed work. It wasn't running smoothly and there was problems with the speed control, but I got it working and I installed a cartridge on it that I had in a drawer. These cartridges were just in there and they weren't protected or anything. They were just floating around in there. So I got those things out and I mounted one of them. This was an AT91, Audio-Technica AT91 with the yellow stylus. You see these everywhere. I still have it. It's over there. And it's actually not in bad shape, according to the microscope. So I put it on, I started playing records, and they sounded so bad. I'm like, what am I doing? And I still had no idea that vinyl was coming back. I didn't know. It's just like a coincidence or something. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe subconsciously I heard something on the radio. I don't know. So then I go online and I'm finding out, this is how you line up the cartridge and everything. And this is how you set it up. Now, I knew something about that from way in the past. But as far as lining up a cartridge, no, we didn't. My brother and I, we shared a turntable and we had no clue how to do that. So once I learned how to do that, I put the records on. It was like, oh my God, this sounds so good. Now that things are set up properly, I was hooked. So I started buying records and thrift store records mostly, just to have some records to play. And eventually I got a little bit more serious about it and I started going to record stores. And the records started sounding better, so I went to the thrift store and I saw a Sony turntable, direct drive. So I bought it, brought it home, got it cleaned up and working properly, bought more records. And along the way, I realized that this was happening to other people too, and that vinyl was coming back. And I thought, wow, I didn't know. And so, I played records on my live broadcast, and then other people started doing the same thing. So it led me to think, why is this happening? And, some things come back. Bell bottoms came back for a while. So, okay, so that was probably some magazine or something, or maybe a movie. I don't know. Who knows? Somebody, some big celebrity or somewhere, wore bell bottoms and it caught on and people, it became a trend and whatnot. With vinyl, I actually don't know why or how it came back, because I love my turntables. I love my records. And when I listen to a record, I get a sense of the music is I'm part of it. It's an experience, And I did a video on, why vinyl. So you can look for that on my channel. And I talked about all the reasons why, people listen to it. But it certainly isn't convenient what you have to go through just to play a record and to keep things running smoothly, and then replacing styluses and all that. It certainly has its flaws as far as sound quality. And I know I'm going to get smacked by saying that, but let's be realistic. There's inherent, noise and things that go along with playing a record. So we put up with those because we like so much the sound quality and the analog aspect of it. Because a lot of people are against, digital and whatnot, which I don't understand. But anyways, that the format, you just put up with the inherent flaws that it has, and it has them. We've advanced so far with technology to the point where I can do a live broadcast right now, and it's all over the world for free from my basement. And by the way, this is a basement. That's why the walls don't look so good. And we've come so far, and digital technology has come so far. It's a far cry from what it was when CDs first came out. Nowadays, the digital analog digital converters are so good, and the resolutions are high, and we've got these huge hard drives now. There's no excuse for bad sounding digital audio. However, I love playing a record much more than I love listening to digital audio or CD or MP3s or whatever. Well, MP3s are out of that's kind of a portable format. We used to walk around with Walkmans and Sony Walkmans and whatnot, and they sounded okay, but come on, MP3s sound a lot better than that, but still they're not the be all and end all. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So here we have an inconvenient, hard to set up, bulky audio format that has started to come back. So is it a lack of enthusiasm about MP3? Some people are just going to say, well, because it sounds better. And that might be true for some people. Maybe a lot of people out there just basically do think it sounds better. And, that's an opinion, not a fact, because it's relative to, everybody's, opinion. But, and I do love the sound of it. I think it sounds fantastic. You see, a lot of it, too, is the placebo. I mean, that, when you put a CD in or a digital, a high quality digital file, you don't think about how it's going to sound, because it's just going to sound the way it's always sounded. You put it on, you forget about it. But when you put on a record, you don't know what's going to happen. It's an adventure, and it's amazing to sit and watch it work. And so, plus the album art, and I talked about this in another video, so I don't want to go on that. But I still don't know if that's why it came back. Maybe because everybody got bored of digital music, or maybe a generation like my generation, or some generation got bored, and we said, I want to dig out that old record player again and play some records. Now myself, I didn't have any records. I had lots of records, and they got destroyed in a flood, so I lost them all. I had all my Rush, Led Zeppelin, Supertramp, all those favorites that I love, and they all got destroyed, so I had nothing. So for me to rebuild my record collection, which I have done, and then some, took a lot. Why did I do that? I don't know. Because even without the momentum of everybody else doing it too, I probably still would have done it. as long as I could, acquire the records, which is getting easier because everybody's doing it. So record stores have records again. Who started it? What happened? Was there a movie somewhere? I know Lost, the series Lost, has a segment of it, quite a big segment of it, where there's like an underground, like a bunker, and down there's a record player. And this is a very quaint little underground bunker, everything you need. It's called The Hatch. If you've never seen the series Lost, you should watch it. You go down there's a place to sleep. It's nice. It's dimmed. It's beautiful. And there's a record player. So it puts it in context of a romanticized environment. And the music they always played on the record player was always oldies. So it's like, it just brought it, for me, it brought it back. Maybe that's what did it. I don't know. But there's also a lot of opinion out there that the reason why it came back is because record companies somehow coerced it to come back. And there's the conspiracy theory side of me coming in, because I wouldn't doubt that for a moment. Record companies, the big corporations, trying to figure out a way. There's probably a board meeting somewhere. Like, okay, everybody's stealing music left and right. They're downloading it from everywhere. We need to bring back a physical media. CDs it's not going to happen. People are tired of CDs right now. We can't do it. We need to bring back records or some sort of physical media. Well, what else is there? Tape's out of the picture. It's too hard to duplicate. It's too hard to mass produce. It's too hard to thread up and get working and everything like that. Cassettes aren't the greatest, although they can sound very good. But I think vinyl would have been the best choice, because most people are familiar with it. And if you're not, then your parents are doing it or your best friend's doing it. And you're like, wow, this is interesting. I had, people over not that long ago here that aren't into it. And it was my son and his girlfriend. They live in another town, so they're not always here. And I put on a record for them, and she was very interested in it. She was like, I love it. Look at that. She's what? They're 28 now or something like that. So they didn't grow up with it, right? Of course, my son was like, well, I don't know, where are we going to put it? And he's being all logical about it and overthinking. Of course, that's what he does because he's his dad's son. And she's like, no, babe, we got to have one of these. Look at that. It sounds awesome. She was all excited. So, there's definitely an aspect of it that is just cool. And people look at it and they go, I want one. Look at that. That's amazing. So it's like we've gone backwards, like we've backpedaled in music storage, but at the same time, it's just brought the fun back into it. But I wouldn't doubt for a moment that this was instigated or coerced by record companies who aren't making a lot of money these days, which is why a lot of the music has gone completely down the toilet, because they just don't want to spend the money. So you get people who can't sing, and you throw on the auto-tune, and there you go. You got a song. And somebody with a drum machine and a 4-track and some beat going on, and just, I'm sorry if you're into that, but if you grew up when I did, the music we had was so layered with lushness and deliciousness. It's like, a bologna sandwich compared to a big deli submarine with mayo and tomatoes and stuff hanging off the sides. I mean, that's what we grew up with. And today it's like it's a bologna sandwich. So, that's coming from a guy who's 53 years old, and maybe I'm over the hill. I don't know. But I don't think so. I am a musician, and I do know what music is composed of, and I can tell you that technically even today's music, a lot of it anyways, not all of it, but a lot of it is just garbage. Why did vinyl come back? You can tell me what you think downstairs there in the comments section. Why do you think it came back? Why did you get back into it? And do you think it's the record companies playing the game, making some money? Because let's face it, you can pay $40 for a record. Easily. But there's not a lot of pressing plants around. That's the thing. So it's hard, it's the economy thing, supply and demand. There's not a lot of plants stamping out records as much as there used to be. So they're more expensive. They're more dear. But anyways, let me know what you think. And I got more good stuff coming up for you on here. So please don't go away. Yes, sometimes there's little gaps, long gaps between videos. Doesn't mean I'm going anywhere. Just means I'm busy and I have another channel that I'm also working on. That's called CraigTube, by the way, if you want to check it out. And if you're into making your own wine or beer or cooking or anything like that, I have another channel that I've been working on for over 12 years. So don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. And I really thank you for watching. Please do the thumb up thing and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. All that stuff helps me. And then I'll just keep on making more videos. So that's the way that works. Take care and keep spinning those big black CDs, because you know what? Vinyl is final. Cheers. Take care.